Welcome, boxing fans, to Unbiased Boxing Talk, where we cover all the latest news in the fight game. So, today I want to talk about how whoever Canelo Alvarez faces next, whoever that may be, he won't get any credit for facing him, and he will be ducking another fighter, according to new media and biased fans. So, we're just going to break this down honestly and unbiasedly. We see that after Billy Joe Saunders' last performance, Canelo. They're already in negotiations, beginning negotiations with the Saunders team. We see that fanboys are saying that Canelo was cherry-picking Saunders coming off of a bad performance. But what they don't see is how slick of a boxer Billy Joe Saunders is, how quote-unquote tough of a style he has for Canelo Alvarez, according to these biased fans. How that Canelo was ducking Saunders at 160. And they don't realize that Billy Joe Saunders is a champion at 160. He is a quote-unquote real champion because Canelo's title, to many, is considered not legit. We see that Billy Joe Saunders is a challenge to anybody in the ring. His style, he's a slick boxer, and that would be it would just be a great fight for Canelo Alvarez coming back down from 175 to 160, where he would be taking on the biggest challenges at that weight. We also see at 168 pounds, there's Callum Smith, who's also coming off a pretty bad performance. I thought a robbery win over John Ryder. If Canelo were to fight him next, they would be saying this is another cherry pick because he's coming off of a bad performance, which I do agree with that. But what they don't see is that before that fight, everyone was saying that Canelo Alvarez was ducking Callum Smith, that Callum Smith is the best fighter at 168 pounds. He won the World Boxing Super Series. He knocked out George Groves. Okay, he has the full version of the WBA title. Canelo has the regular. And he is a champion at that weight, so that would not be a cherry pick fight at all. Callum Smith is a tough fighter for anybody. He hits very hard. He's 6'3". Canelo's only 5'9". And we see that the other champions at 168 pounds are with the PBC, and those fighters only like to fight in-house. They don't like to go out of house and fight. They would probably want Canelo to come over to the PBC to fight them because they don't like their big fighters going to other platforms to fight. That's why they don't want Deontay Wilder coming over to the Zone to fight Anthony Joshua. So we see that those fights would be very hard to make, and honestly, they're not realistic because those guys need to be fighting each other because they're in-house and they like to be fighting in-house fighters. Other than that, I really don't see any other fights potentially that would be considered a cherry pick for Canelo by other fans, unless Canelo decides to fight Dimitri Bivol. But Canelo Alvarez has already stated that he's not campaigning at 175 pounds. If he were to fight any other fighter than, let's say Demetrius Andrade or Jamal Charlo, they'd be saying that Canelo Alvarez is ducking those two, when in reality he's coming back down from 175 pounds. It's most realistic for him to stop at 168 to take a fight there, because cutting too much weight, coming back down 15 pounds is a lot of weight. I've experienced this myself. I'm an athlete, I'm a wrestler. I cut weight a lot. I've cut 40 plus pounds, and it really does affect your performance. So it would not be smart at all for Canelo to come down to 160 pounds unless, if he really wanted to do that, then maybe he would take the Jamal Charlo fight, because that would be a good tune-up fight for him, because Jamal Charlo is nothing more than a tune-up fight. He is an absolute trash fighter. But the Demetrius Andrade fight obviously will happen in the future. I guarantee that fight will happen. That fight needs to happen. But in the meantime, Demetrius Andrade and Jamal Charlo need to fight each other, and then the winner would really be deserving of Canelo Alvarez. That's all I really got to say. Thank you for tuning in to Unbiased Boxing Talk, and we'll see you in the next episode.